Welcome to German History with a German accent. My name is Wolf, W-O-L-F, just like the animal, and in today's video I'm speaking about Hermann Göring. As always, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button and drop me a comment below. Hermann Wilhelm Göring was born on January 12, 1893 in Rosenheim, as son of Heinrich Ernst and Franziska Göring. The first 3 years of his life he spent with a Franz family, since his mother didn't want Hermann to be exposed to the tropical climate of Haiti, where his father served as a consul general. Since his performance in school was not very satisfying, Göring was sent into a cadet corps where he began to perform well. Since March 1912, Hermann Göring was a Fähnrich and graduated school in January 1913. Upon the outbreak of the First World War, Hermann Göring served as a lieutenant commanding his regiment in Mulhouse. After earning the Iron Cross Second Class in September 1914, he was hospitalized for rheumatism, in which time he was convinced by his friend Bruno Lörzer, a fighter pilot, to join the Air Forces. Hermann Göring then illegally transferred to the Air Forces after his official request was denied. He was flying with his friend Lörzer when he was discovered. A prison sentence against Hermann Göring was never carried out, and the military kept using him as Lörzer's observer. For their bombing and recon missions, both received the Iron Cross First Class in the year 1915. In the same year, Hermann Göring began pilot's training, which he completed successfully in September 1915. It was only 2 months later, while serving in the Fifth Army, when he shot down his first enemy plane. After he crash-landed his plane in November 1916, he spent several months in the hospital to recover. In May 1917, now ranked as an Oberleutnant, Göring took charge of the Jagdstaffel 27, Fighter Squadron 27, where he earned the highest Prussian order, the Pour le Mérite, in the following year. In July of 1918, Hermann Göring became the commander of Jagdgeschwader 1, Fighter Wing 1, also known as Manfred von Richthofen's Flying Circus. By the end of the First World War, Göring was ordered to hand over his planes to the Allies, but instead many of his pilots purposely crash-landed their planes. By the end of the war, Göring had achieved 22 air victories. The following years, Hermann Göring spent in Denmark and Sweden, where he kept flying in civilian airlines. During this time, he met his first wife, Karin Freifrau von Kanzow. The couple got married in January 1923. Both of them were true believers in the National Socialist ideology. Göring became a member in the NSDAP in 1922 after he heard a speech by Adolf Hitler. In command of the Sturmabteilung, SA, he participated in the beer hall putsch on November 9th, year 1923, where he was shot. With the help of his wife, the wanted man managed to escape to Austria, where he received medical care, including the pain medication morphine, which he would become addicted to. The Görings returned to Germany in the year 1927, when amnesty was given. In the following year, Hermann Göring was elected into the Reichstag. His wife Karin Göring died on October 17, year 1931, due to heart failure. In the following year's election, the NSDAP became the largest party, giving it the chance to elect the Reichstagspräsident. Hermann Göring was elected and held that position until the year 1945. After Adolf Hitler had been named the Reichschancellor of Germany in 1933, Göring was one of his ministers. As a minister without portfolio, Minister of the Interior for Prussia, putting him in charge of the Prussian police, as well as the Reichscommissioner of Aviation. During the next 12 years, he would hold more titles, which I will write in the show notes below. Only a month after Hitler's election, the German Reichstag caught fire, and Marinus van der Luppe, a communist, was arrested for it. This event helped Hitler to disable the German democracy and bring the Enabling Act of 1933 on its way. It was testified by Franz Halder that Hermann Göring admitted that he set the fire himself. Upon Göring's initiative, the first concentration camps were formed in the year 1933, as well as the Gestapo. Göring handed command of the Gestapo to Heinrich Himmler in the following year, and also played a significant role during the Night of the Long Knives, where Ernst Röhm and other high-ranking SA members were murdered. I made a separate video about Ernst Röhm where I talk about this a little bit more. In the year 1935, the illegally built German Air Force was revealed with Göring as its head. He was promoted to the rank of General der Flieger. He also got married to Emmy Sonnenmann in the same year, with the German dictator as his best man. In 1936, Hitler made Göring responsible for the 4-year plan with the goal to speed up the German rearmament. 2 years later, he forced Werner von Blomberg to step down from his post during the Blomberg-Fritsch affair, in the hopes to become the supreme commander of the Wehrmacht himself. But the German dictator took that role himself. Göring, however, was promoted to the rank of Generalfeldmarschall and was therefore the highest-ranking soldier in the Wehrmacht from that point on. After more soldiers were promoted to the rank of Generalfeldmarschall, Göring was made a Reichsmarschall. During the Sudeten crisis, Hermann Göring went over Foreign Minister Joachim von Ribbentrop's head and arranged the Conference of Munich, where the crisis was dissolved peacefully, which really displeased Adolf Hitler. In the beginning of the Second World War, Hermann Göring was deemed a hero of the Air Force up until the Battle of Britain, when the Luftwaffe was unable to obtain air supremacy and defeat the Royal Air Force. From there on, it went downhill for Göring, especially when Allied bombers were able to bomb more and more German cities. Before the war, he made big promises that if Allied bombers would reach German territories, he would want to be called Meyer instead of Göring. During the war, many Germans would make fun of him by calling him secretly Hermann Meyer. Hermann Göring, after attending Adolf Hitler's birthday party on April 20th in the year 1945 in Berlin, sent a telegraph from Berchtesgaden only 3 days later, in which he stated that if the German dictator was still staying in Berlin, which at this time was almost completely encircled by the Red Army, and didn't receive a response from Hitler within several hours, Göring himself would take charge of Germany. Hitler took this message as an attempted coup and had Göring arrested and relieved him from all of his posts. On May 6, 1945, Hermann Göring was arrested by US soldiers of the 36th Infantry Division. During the Nuremberg trials, Hermann Göring was sentenced to death by hanging. His request to be shot was denied. In the night before his execution would have been carried out, Hermann Göring took his own life. He died at the age of 53. Thank you so much for watching.